So function has been successfully created, and I will show you that code. We did not provide any code, but it will still find 3 4 lines by default. You see this? Okay, so this is the default code. If you want, I can remove it completely, and I can make it even more simple. First line you have to keep this. Def means defining a function. This lambda handler, event and context, this is the important mandatory line. After that I will just add a print statement. Okay, print, I would say, welcome to lambda functions. Okay, good. Oh, this is new editor, that's why I was thinking how it's different. This is something different. The screenshot you will find will be little different, but that's fine. Let's try the newer one. They are asking, you are using the new console editor, switch to the old editor. We'll try the newer one. Okay, so we have to click on deploy. Deploy means saving your code. So we'll click on deploy. Your code changes, whatever code changes you made, those will be saved. Okay, you see this updating the function. So successfully updated the code. Now we will test the code. How to run the code, right? Click on test, and it's asking for a test event. So in order to test your code, you have to create a test event. That's one time activity, you don't have to create again and again. So we'll create the test event first. You see here, create test event. Click on that and provide a meaningful name. I would say anything, test event 1. And you want to create this test event as a private or shareable. Private will be available only for your use. Shareable will be for other team members as well. We usually create private only, because suppose you are working on your lambda, there are very less chances that someone else will be testing that. And even if they want to test, they can create their own test event. Let's not mix it. So we will create a private test event, and then you have to provide some input. Provide some input to your lambda function. That's optional, but let's provide something. So this is JSON file, JSON input, key 1 value 1, key 2 value 2. Let's make it more meaningful. I would say name. Name is the key, and value is nearest. Okay, the next one I would say skills, and I would say AWS, and I can remove the third key value pair. Okay, we are just making it simple. So this way you can create a test event, provide some meaningful name, provide some input, and where is the option of create? This is the new editor, so I need to, I don't know, where is the option of saving or something? I don't see any option of save. Oh, it's there. Click on save. Okay, good. We can close this. And now I will click on test. Click on test, and here you have to select your test event. So we have this test event created. Select this, and it will be running, and you can see down. Okay, so the UI is little different now. Earlier the output was displayed on the right side, now it's coming down, but that's fine. So status is succeeded. Okay, test event name is test event 1. Response is null. Response in the sense this function is not returning anything, so that is okay. We are not even expecting to return something, rather we are expecting to print something. So scroll down, and function log. So welcome to lambda function, you see this. Okay, you can see few more details. Request id, because every time you will run your code behind the scene, it will be launching one small server. So for every request there will be unique request id, which you don't have to worry about. But you can see that there's a request id started, then request id ended, and duration is 2.02 millisecond. Not even second, millisecond. Build duration 3 millisecond. You are charged only for 3 millisecond, and not actually charged. That even that we are under the free limit, right? So not actually charged. But the point is, if you will be launching a server, then it will be charged. I think minimally they will charge for 1 hour or something. But for lambda function, you see that they are charging you only for 3 millisecond. Memory size 128 MB, and that's all. This was the output expected, and that's happening. Okay, and you are thinking about why the response is null. If you want, you can return something. I would say return and success. Okay, we will click on deploy. Our code will be saved. Perfect. Click on test. Click on test. Okay, we have to I have to select the test event. You see this response this time is success because I'm returning from the function, and welcome to lambda function, and that's all. Okay, so we are done with very basic setup of lambda. We'll talk more about lambda. There are different properties, there are different more features. We'll talk about it, but I'm taking a quick pause here. In case you're having any doubt, please feel free to ask. Okay, seems like there is no doubt. Let's see. This is the creating test event we talked about. Running the, you see this earlier, the code and the result was displayed like side by side, left and right. Now the output is displayed below, but that's fine. You can switch back to the old editor if you want. Okay, next is schedule a lambda function, but before that I think there should be few more things. Okay, we'll talk about few more things. So we'll come back to lambda, and okay, so on the top there are few you can say tabs. We talked only about code. Next is test, which we have already covered. We are creating a test event, right? That is already covered. Monitor. Monitor will help you to monitor your logs. Right now, you are running your code, you are checking your output. But suppose tomorrow you will come back and you will say, what output it generated yesterday? I would like to see that. In that case, you can monitor your Lambda logs through this option. And the very first option is view CloudWatch logs. Click on that. It will be opening a new tab. CloudWatch is a separate service of AWS, which is managing the logs, not only for Lambda. It is managing the logs for almost all the services. So basically, when you are running your Lambda, you can check the output over there. But if you want to check the history, the going back, uh, then you can always go to CloudWatch, and from there you can find the Lambda logs. So you can see here AWS Lambda, my first Lambda function, and scroll down. You can see that we executed 2 times. Both execution logs are available here. We will execute a few more times, then we'll come back. If you want to check, right, click on any of the link, and you will find the complete detail here. You see this runtime version Python 3.13, and request started. Welcome to Lambda function. Request ended. That's all. Whatever was displayed over there, that displayed temporarily, because once you run it again, the older output will be you can say disappear, and the new output will be displayed, right? But CloudWatch will maintain all of your logs. It is helpful usually when the things are not working as expected. For example, one file came into S3, and you were expecting that the file arrival should trigger my Lambda, but it did not trigger. Or you were expecting that it should trigger the Lambda should read my file from S3, it should process my data, and it should write the output data into some Redshift table. Suppose you have written the code like that, but somehow your Redshift table is not updated. So where you will go to check? You will go to CloudWatch and check the Lambda execution and check what is the error. Maybe some permission issue, or file not found, or format is not recognized. There can be anything. Okay, so this is about monitoring